140,000 times. The story of Typhoid Mary, the woman who spent years spreading this killer and terrifying America, will be the first stop on our journey into the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. Twirl and twist with the best rope jumpers in the world. Climb out of the water with an amazing Florida fish that walks. Mix gunpowder with imagination to light up the sky in Mexico. Join an explorer who risked his life to find a lost biblical city. Discover the amazing results of experimental animal breeding in China. Soar through the wild blue yonder to compete for a $100,000 prize. Take a precarious climb to discover hidden evidence of a vanished American civilization. Explore a future world to see what frightening surprises nature may have in store. Blast away with demolition experts who create instant rubble. The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to
believe it or not.
Disease can be carried by flies or mosquitoes or rats or by even the most loving of household pets. But disease can also be transmitted by humans. A man or a woman can seem perfectly healthy and still be a living carrier of death. Back in 1906, a woman named Mary Ballon came to work as a cook in a home near New York City. No one, including Mary herself, realized that death followed wherever she went. However, she became a suspect when various people she served came down with the dreaded disease, typhoid fever. Tests confirmed the health department's worst fears. Mary herself wasn't sick, but she carried the deadly typhoid germs and spread them wherever she went. She was a one-woman epidemic, teeming with infection. Rejecting explanations, Mary refused to believe she had caused any deaths at all or even made anyone ill. When the newspapers learned about Mary, cartoons appeared showing her making typhoid pancakes. As Typhoid Mary, she became a national celebrity, a frightening symbol of disease and disaster. Despite all the germs she carried around in her, however, Mary was in robust, good health. The one thing she wouldn't let the doctors do was to cut her open, to remove her gallbladder in an effort to eliminate a possible source of typhoid germs. She retained an attorney, and the doctors had to let her go. She promised that she'd come back for regular checkups and never work as a cook again. She didn't keep either promise. 5 years passed. Then, in 1915, Mary returned to public attention in the worst possible way. Once again, she was working in the kitchen, and this time, the kitchen was in a hospital. When 25 people on the staff of the same hospital suddenly came down with typhoid, health department officials had a pretty good idea where to find her. 2 of the victims of her cooking died, and nobody knows how many others she may have infected during the 5 years she had been on the loose in the kitchens of the city. But this time, city officials were not going to take any more chances. They put Mary away permanently. By court order, Mary was confined to an isolated hospital on an island in New York's East River. At first understandably bitter, she eventually accepted her strange fate with dignity and grace. This, Salmonella typhus, the killer bacillus, continued to infest Mary without making her ill until November the 11th, 1938. On that day, at the age of 70, she died of a stroke that had nothing to do with typhoid fever. Today, of course, modern medicine has less extreme ways of dealing with typhoid carriers. But the fact remains that Mary Mallon, Typhoid Mary, who never meant to harm anyone, had endured one of the longest hospital stays in history, a total of over 26 years. Believe it or not.
This country was
Putting together the chemicals to create one of the world's most delicate explosives is, without a doubt, a hazardous way to make a living. Until they are combined, the elements are quite harmless. Together, they become nitroglycerin. Of course, the actual procedures and chemicals are much more complicated. And once the mixing process begins, they are subject to instant detonation. The mixing must be done very carefully over a long period of time. The job is dangerous, but tedious. At a factory in Scotland just before the turn of the century, a machine was devised to do this. A technician had to watch it to make sure things went smoothly. But as they watched, they would become drowsy and sometimes doze off with fatal results. To prevent such disasters, a safety engineer came up with a simple device. This. It lets you take the weight off your feet, but it doesn't let you go to sleep on the job. A one-legged stool. A singular way of reducing an occupational hazard. Believe it or not. As fireworks, explosives can be an art form. Strangely, some of the world's best are created in the remote Mexican village of San Pedro Zumpango by firemaster Marcelo Ramos. He risks constant danger. Gunpowder, he says, can betray you at any time. All of Marcelo's family helps. The small children are kept from the most dangerous jobs. The older ones, though, must handle powder that can self-ignite at any moment. Some well-aimed water can prevent disaster. The fireworks created by Marcelo and his family go to great festivals throughout Mexico. This project is particularly important because it will be used here to celebrate the feast day of his home village. Everything must work perfectly. Family pride depends on providing a night filled with sparkling beauty and thrills. In his boyhood, Marcello had a dream: to paint the sky, to fill it with 1,000 shooting stars. In San Pedro Zumpango, explosives celebrate a holiday. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, they are put to an altogether different use. The city is not under attack. Despite appearances, it is being improved. Instead of wrecking crews, explosions, planned very carefully, are being used increasingly to help renovate American cities by clearing away old and abandoned buildings. Jack Loiseau of Phoenix, Maryland, is the quiet master planner of most of the explosive but beneficial destruction. He is the inventor of a technique he calls controlled demolition. Meticulously, he analyzes each assignment with his sons, Doug and Mark. To them, a city's great buildings are not solid, proud architecture, but objects to be blown up. What ordinary wrecking crews need months to do, they can accomplish with an explosive blast. In Newark, New Jersey, an obsolete public service building stands uncomfortably close to a new glass tower.
This is a plan view of our structure, showing the steel columns that support the building. And we will come in with our explosives and eliminate one column at a time. And this building will lay into the vacant lot out of the street. This is the street.
They intend to make their target fold away from the glass building next to it. The Loiseaus and their crew make precise, predetermined cuts in the supporting columns to weaken them and to provide slots for the explosive in the form of shaped, linear charges. The object is to use very little explosive, but a lot of gravity to destroy the supports and let the building collapse under its own weight. The charges must be placed exactly and must fire in just the right sequence. Confidence is high. Only light shielding is judged necessary to protect the area from stray pieces of flying debris. The area is cordoned off. In a few minutes, a building will be coming down. Despite the planning, there is always the danger of kickback, part of the structure falling the wrong way.
Looks great from here.
A perfect job reviewed in slow motion. The charges fire in precise sequence. The building folds away from its glass neighbor and collapses exactly as planned. Such precision confirms the family's pride. It is only one accomplishment in a career filled with distinguished achievement. For 300 years after they invented it, the Chinese used gunpowder not to make weapons, but to make firecrackers. Believe it or not.
Rope jumping was primarily a street game for kids until the mid-70s. Then, to give teenage girls a boost of self-pride and accomplishment, 2 New York policemen organized a double Dutch tournament. It was like breakdancing for girls. And all it took was 2 pieces of clothesline and jet-propelled feet.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Today, in a growing number of cities, girls are pushing themselves and double Dutch to the limits. Even in routine practice, today's competitors are attaining championship speeds of as many as 7 jumps a second.
All right, ladies, ready your ropes.
At New York's Lincoln Center, the annual Double Dutch competition is, to the kids, the World Series, the Super Bowl, and the Olympics, all in one emotion-packed event. After an electrifying performance, the world champions tell how long they plan to go on jumping.
For as long as we can. For as long as we can. We'll be jumping without canes. Yeah. How we gonna be 4 little old ladies without canes and still jumping rope.
The thrill of intense competition can inspire young and old alike. But these expert balloonists from 5 nations are facing the added challenge of attempting something no one has ever done before. They're gathered here in Canada to try to catch a toy balloon that's worth a fortune. Other preparations are underway in this cage, where volunteers are rushing to inflate more than 20,000 toy balloons to be released when the contest begins. Hidden within this sea of toy balloons will be 50 very special, extremely valuable fish. The balloon pilots and crews will have 3 hours in which to try to catch them. The first lucky team that succeeds in netting one and bringing it back to base will win a cash prize of $100,000.
Let her go.
Hey. Another one, another one.
The hot air balloons ascend and maneuver for position. Since no one has ever tried air fishing before, the pilots can't even be sure how high to fly. All strategy is guesswork. Butterfly nets at the ready, each team picks what it hopes is the best location. With the winds calm and 54 balloons poised for action, the odds of someone netting the prize seem almost certain.
Okay, go.
Everything seems to go smoothly. Then the wind begins to shift. Now the toy balloons and the fish begin to dance erratically on the breeze and move with unpredictable speed. The quest for the elusive flying fish went on for 3 hours. It seemed to be a beautiful day for fishing, and it looked like all the odds were in their favor. But they still came home empty-handed. The catch would have been worth $100,000, but like so many other fish stories, the big one, in fact, all the fish got away. Bye now.
An annual race is conducted in Deming, New Mexico to determine the fleetest of foot among domesticated ducks. Believe it or not.
Tylenol is...
Whew. This is thoroughbred country, Kentucky. Here, raising horses is an art. Breeding for speed and stamina, experts have been able to produce generations of champions. But not all horses are bred to win races. This is Kelly. She's a quarter horse. Gentle old thing. 26 years old. But she's not nearly as ordinary as she looks, and that's why she's kept here at the Louisville Zoo. In May 1984, Kelly played the key role in a dramatic and fascinating scientific breakthrough. Didn't ya? Kelly was about to give birth, but not to a horse. The embryo of an animal of a different species had been implanted in her almost a year before. A zebra born from a horse. The experiment was part of a program to build up populations of endangered animals by using common ones as foster parents. It could not be counted a success, however, until the zebra was breathing on its own. A a daring experiment has produced a triumph. His official name is Aculeus, but everybody calls him EQ. At 3 months, he's doing fine, although he's still a little shy with visitors. When he grows up, however, there's every possibility that EQ will be called upon by naturalists to father entirely new herds of zebras here or wherever they're needed around the world. Without human help, some animals would disappear completely. Change is an ever-active force in nature, and no species remains forever. Closely related to today's elephant, the great woolly mammoth was common until it was wiped out by the bitter cold of the last ice age. Today's gentle deer was preceded in prehistoric times by the megaloceros. Its antlers had a span of 13 feet. The wily mountain lion is the nearest living relative to the ferocious saber-toothed tiger that once roamed the American West. As some species become extinct, however, new ones are evolving. In an English game park, naturalist Paul Buttrell studies the cheetah. Cheetahs seem perfectly suited for their lives of running and hunting, but they may be changing.
The normal cheetah we've known of for 5,000 years, and they've been absolutely identical, and there's been no difference for 5,000 years, and suddenly, in the last 50 years, we've come up with a cheetah which has these stripes, and is completely different.
The new cheetah's skin is marked by tiger-like stripes, a dramatic development. So far, though, Buttrell had seen only skins, not a living specimen. In Africa, using a balloon as a silent observation post, Buttrell tracked ordinary cheetahs, searching for the elusive prize. Suddenly, patience was rewarded. The bold stripes along the back were unmistakable. Buttrell took this film, the first ever of one of the rarest and newest animals on Earth. Extraordinary creatures can appear anywhere. About 20 years ago, Florida became a new habitat for a rare Asian fish, Chlorius batrachus. Imported by collectors, it escaped captivity and thrived. With its spiked fin, it can do more than swim. Chlorius is also called the walking catfish. It can leave the water and travel on land. Not only does this catfish walk, it also breathes air, enabling it to live on land for days. No one knows why the catfish leaves the water, but its travels do create unlikely confrontations. In China, change and development have produced a creature with a grotesque appearance. Called the Maisan tongue, it's a new species of hog that looks like something out of science fiction. Despite its unusual appearance, nature has given it an essential advantage over other hogs. It produces offspring at a phenomenal rate. An ordinary hog litter averages 10 piglets. The Maisan can produce as many as 33. This prodigious ability to reproduce assures that China's Maisan tongue will be on the scene for a long, long time. Change will continue as long as there is life. In an abandoned English gasworks, noted paleontologist Dougal Dixon foresees a time when man will no longer inhabit the planet. Man's disappearance, Dixon believes, will create a great opportunity for the emergence of startling new creatures. No matter how strange these future animals may be, however, they will develop from creatures that lurk among us even now. Rats and other traditional enemies of man will swarm in huge numbers. Creatures of the night will boldly claim new hunting grounds. The changes Dougal-Dixon imagines may lie in the far future, but they are not the product of sheer fantasy. Dixon utilizes scientific principles. Beginning with the bat of today, he predicts a future flightless form which will prowl the ground for its food. And from this, he has developed the Night Stalker. Nearly man-sized, the Night Stalker will be a terrifying killer. Hunting in packs, screaming Night Stalkers will bring down even the largest animals of the jungle. A spectacular exhibit in Japan gives Dixon's creations a dramatic presentation. It's a view of the world as it may be 50 million years from now. It is as though we are able to look across time. The strider might combine the killing instincts of a jungle cat with the agility of a monkey. The frozen north will be populated, Dixon says, by the woolly gigantelope, which will use its horns to plow beneath the snow cover in search of food. In the future, the world's arid lands might be inhabited by the giant desert leper. The leper will evolve from today's rats. The prospects are both unsettling and fascinating. Dixon's unique vision is based on his study of nature's inventiveness.
So whatever man does to the world today, however much damage he causes, however many things become extinct, something will survive. And from what survives, all these creatures could develop.
A zoology of the future. Believe it or not.
Jerboas, the leaping 2-inch tall mice of Australia, can jump as high as 6 feet in a single bound. Believe it or not.
You see, this mouth is...
Books like these chronicle the adventures of the explorers who risked their lives to find out what was beyond the horizon or just over the next mountain range. For armchair travelers, such books are an inexpensive ticket to exotic places. Pompeii, Machu Picchu, Troy. And then there is Petra, a biblical city that vanished from history for almost 1,500 years. To find it, an adventurer named John Burckhardt was prepared to accept pain and suffering, even death. His explorations are detailed in his diary. To search for the legendary city of Petra, Burckhardt had to disguise himself as a Muslim merchant. For non-Muslims, in 1812, most of Arabia was forbidden territory. The country that is now Jordan was then part of a vast, mysterious land. Strangers were not welcome. Burckhardt, however, had devoted years to perfect his disguise. He knew the grisly fate of the only other European to glimpse the ruins that might mark the road to Petra. Near these ruins, an earlier explorer had been killed by Bedouins who suspected him of being an outsider. For Burckhardt, every encounter with local tribesmen was both a threat and an opportunity. To find Petra, Burckhardt needed a guide. To preserve his life, he had to convince them he was a Muslim. Burckhardt's disguise was accepted, but the Bedouin asked that he pay in advance for safe passage. The price was a pair of used horseshoes. Through a hidden canyon and along an ancient road, a Bedouin guide led Burckhardt toward his goal. Ahead lay what a poet would call a rose-red city half as old as time. He approached what no European had seen in over 1,000 years, an intricate building carved out of the living rock of the mountain itself. For Burckhardt, the discovery was dangerous. To reveal his true identity by showing more than idle curiosity could result in certain death. Despite the risk, Burckhardt was determined to make notes and draw sketches. It was the only way to prove that he had found Petra. By taking an apparently innocent walk, Burckhardt confirmed his belief that this was once the home of a people called the Nabateans. During biblical times, the city had prospered by trading in silks and incense. As trade routes shifted, however, Petra was abandoned. A population of almost 50,000 people simply moved on. Behind them, they left an empty amphitheater to echo their faded glory. To the guide, Burckhardt's explorations did not seem innocent at all. They were proof that Burckhardt was worse than an outsider. He was a treasure hunter, and for that, he would die. With a knife only inches away from his throat, he remained calm and told a story. He said he had come to Petra not as an infidel, but as a pilgrim to make a sacrifice on the ancient altar of Petra, and it worked. Burckhardt's knowledge of language, religion, and culture were his only weapons, but they were enough to enable him to find Petra and then to escape from it. And then to go on to be the first Westerner to penetrate the forbidden city of Mecca. To see and touch the holy Kaaba stone is an act of worship that brings thousands of Muslim pilgrims to Mecca every year. Under the assumed name of Ibrahim ibn Abdallah, Burckhardt not only made the pilgrimage, but was also accepted as a religious scholar. John Burckhardt's journey ended in Cairo, Egypt. After surviving the ordeals of the desert, he died of a stomach ailment in 1817. He is buried here, but no one is certain precisely where. Ironically, the discoverer of the lost city of Petra has apparently himself become lost. In the southwestern United States, a routine flight over high, dry canyon country recently resulted in an extraordinary find. An unusual formation tucked into the side of a cliff turned out to be evidence of an ancient, vanished civilization.
Climate reports finding pottery and various other artifacts still intact. Just getting ready to come down over the lip here.
Oh, far out.
Bill, we're going to move back out of here so that they can communicate a little better.
For U.S. Park Service archaeologist Tia Nordlinger, the dangerous descent down the cliff was a step backward into a mysterious time when these weathered ruins were the home of a people known only as Anasazi, the Ancient Ones.
Watch my footing. I don't want to have to grab this thing and pull it down. Oh.
Untouched except by time, the two rooms of the dwelling contain the tools and utensils of the original inhabitants, exactly as they had left them. Few such ruins have guarded their secrets so well or for so long.
Holy cow. This is incredible. There's a big black on white bowl and two gray bowls. A basket, and the rim of another basket, and a bunch of sticks. It looks like maybe that stick is, look at that, it's got a handle on it. It's almost like it's a digging tool.
Preserved for almost 1,000 years, for archaeologists, the ruins were a treasure trove. Despite their scientific curiosity, however, they decided simply to record their discovery, then leave the site exactly as they found it.
I think to remove this from a site like this would be not the right thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, because this is inaccessible.
Yeah, it's inaccessible. It's pretty well protected. Nobody knows about it and hopefully won't after they see it on TV either. And it's so beautiful just the way it is. I don't think it should be moved.
The rest of the team agreed. The rough stone implements carved by ancient hands were returned to where they had lain undisturbed for centuries. They examined the imprints of the ancient ones who made their home here, and then, with the touching of hands across time, sealed a promise. They vowed to keep the location a secret, and they have kept the secret. Believe it or not. A dime, a saucer, a flask of water. These are the elements to illustrate an adventure, the recovery of treasure lost at sea. This is the treasure, resting on the edge of the sea, buried under a blanket of water. Now, the trick is to recover the treasure without getting our fingers wet. To accomplish that seemingly impossible task, we'll need a few simple items. A cork and a pair of paper matches inserted into the cork. Oh yes, one other item, a glass, to serve as a diving bell that works in reverse. But that comes later. Now, first, set the cork afloat and ignite the matches. Be careful not to burn yourself. Put the glass, the diving bell, in place. And then, as a vacuum is created, the water defies gravity to flow upward. The treasure is left high and dry, retrieved from the edge of the sea without ever getting your fingers wet. Believe it or not.
An alien abduction, a government cover-up. They could hide the lies, but they can't conceal the truth. Parker Stevenson, Aaron Gray, Dirk Benedict, and Chad Everett star in Official Denial, Saturday at 8 p.m., 5 Pacific.
Now stay tuned for Voyagers, next on the Sci-Fi Channel.